Welcome to New Media Patriot Radio, the show about you, the concerned citizen, the silent majority, the politically incorrect, the social media patriot fighting every single day to restore American values and exceptionalism. You can follow me on Twitter at ThePatriot143 or on our show Twitter at NMP Radio, stands for New Media Patriot Radio. Also, we are being syndicated on the new home of Internet Conservative Talk Radio. That is ICRN. That is conservativeradionetwork.com. Check them out. They have a bunch of other great shows on that network. I want to thank them for syndicating my show. Also, if you want to be a guest on this show and you want to get your voice heard, you can simply email us at newmediapatriot@gmail.com. Also, visit our website for all the latest news and all the past shows. All my shows are archived on there. You can visit us at newmediapatriotradio.com. And we are actively looking for bloggers. If you are a political blogger and you're looking for some exposure with some of your write-ups, email us, again, at newmediapatriot@gmail.com. And you can follow us, please, if you can follow us on Spreaker, on iTunes, and also on SoundCloud. We are all over the place. Again, if you want to take us on the go, you don't necessarily have to listen to us live, but you can if you want, and you can actually call in now. And that number is 347-338-1775. Again, the number is 347-338-1775. So, today's an exciting day because it is Super Tuesday, and there's a lot going on. But before we get to all that, and before we get to tonight's guest, I just got to go on a little rant here. You have the GOP is finally fighting back, and this is so funny because all of a sudden they are pulling all the stops. Who are they turning their guns on? Is it the Democrats? No, it's the GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. Just like they did in Mississippi in 2014 when they went against Chris McDaniels. So again, welcome to the Silent Majority here on New Media Patriot Radio. This is our Super Tuesday special, as I stated before, and I am your host, Chris, and our number again is 347-338-1775. So let me go on. After 7 years of hearing the majority in both houses, the GOP majority in both houses, telling us, what do you want us to do? Whenever Obama, went on one of his executive actions or his basically treasonous rampage, that's what the GOP majority told us. What do you want us to do? And now, all of a sudden, they want to put their tough guy outfit or their tough guy costume on and fight like hell against the leading Republican candidate, Donald Trump. And you know why? You know why they're doing this? They're seeing their cushy business as usual apparatus crumbling. And they see it as a threat to their institutional status. The GOP is basically, this is what they're doing by doing this. They're basically telling the American people that they're going to pull out all the stops to block a Trump nomination. Especially after telling us that they couldn't pull out all the stops to stop Obama. Let that sink in for a bit. They did nothing. For 7 years, they've done nothing. They've done absolutely nothing. Imagine if they fought this hard at combating Obamacare, or the EPA regulations, or TPA, or TPP, or again, Obama's executive amnesties. Imagine how better off we would be as a nation. And I bet you that we wouldn't be talking about Donald Trump. Republicans are playing into the hands of the Democrats. The GOP is basically aiding and abetting the Clinton machine. Where was the GOP when Mitt Romney was running for president? They refused to bring up Obama's controversial connections with groups such as the Black Panther Party, the Weather Underground, the Radical Church, where Reverend Wright was the pastor or the minister or whatever you want to call him, or his connection with Frank Marshall Davis, the communists. Ladies and gentlemen, they were nowhere to be found. They said we're going to beat him on policy instead, because they were so afraid of what the mainstream media was going to say about them, or what the racist undertones of bringing, such radical connections, bringing them up would bring on the party. They were so afraid of themselves. What did they do? They stuck their tails between their legs. Well, guess what? They lost for two reasons. Low voter turnout from the Republican base, and Obama doing what he does best, playing the race card. So, let me take a breather, because that was a pretty long rant there. I just had to get that out. I mean, I was festering this inside. I was thinking it out all day, and I just had to get it out. So on tonight's show, we're going to talk about these leftist tactics that the GOP establishment will attempt to use against Trump if he wins big tonight on Super Tuesday. So with that being said, let's welcome in my guests for tonight. My two guests, actually. I want to welcome in Christina Layla and Cambry Nelson. How are you, ladies?
Great. How are you, darling?
Good. Well, Christina, you were on a previous show, and so was Cambry. I want to thank you guys for coming back on. And let me tell you, it was two of the highest rated shows, and I wanted to have you guys back on. You ladies back on. I keep saying guys. I'm so used to. Please don't take it personal if I call you guys. Okay? You promise?
I don't.
You promise?
Promise. I'm totally fine with it.
Okay. Awesome. So, ladies, what do you think about what's going on right now? Today's Super Tuesday, but did I hit every point on that opening? Christina.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Where were these people when Obama was running back to 2008?
I can't hear.
He's a virtual unknown who was foisted onto the American people, and there was no vetting. They wouldn't even bring up his radical associations with the Weather Underground, with the church he sat in, where I don't even want to call him a pastor, but the leader of the church was a radical black theology Marxist.
Right.
Where, like you said, where were these people attacking Obama back in 2008?
Right.
And now they're attacking one of their own. They don't even see Donald Trump as a Republican. They see him as a bigger threat than these other people who are true radicals.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed, without a doubt. Cambry, I sent you ladies an article regarding what happened, and I mentioned it in my opening in Mississippi in 2014, where and again, I say this all the time. The KKK and his racism crap comes up every election cycle. The difference is that you really never see it. You never see it from the same team. For instance, the GOP is attacking their frontrunner with the KKK agenda. Have you ever seen anything like that, Cambry?
No, I mean, I've honestly, I'm a young one. I can call myself a political baby, but I've never seen anything like this. And from what I've seen and from what I've researched, apparently this is not anything new. The difference is that now we have social media that can expose everything that's going on.
Right.
I mean, apparently this is a tactic that they moved, like you said earlier, and whenever they were starting this, when they're about McDaniel. This is an all-out war with the GOP. They did this. They are going to do everything they possibly can. It's the biggest smear campaign. They don't care who wins this election. All they want to do is make sure that the big establishment donors are taken care of.
Right.
They'll pull out the race card. They're going to pay for print ads. They're going to do broadcast ads. They're going to ask, pastors. They're going to pay Democrats off. They're going to get preachers to go out there. And basically, they just want voters to vote in the runoff election. I mean, what's happening is the Republicans in Washington, D.C. right now is using every dirty trick at their disposal to take down Donald Trump. What they don't realize is that Donald Trump has a Trump train behind him.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Trump train behind him. So everything that they do, we actually expose. And so this actually has worked previously. And I think they're just desperate, especially after coming out of South Carolina with a victory, coming after Nevada with a victory. And now today is Super Tuesday, and the numbers are coming in. Donald Trump just won Georgia. There's one state, in the box for Donald Trump. I just saw that. So, the D.C. establishment, Republicans, basically they have a team that they've enlisted together, the same people that went after McDaniel years and years ago, and they're running this huge super nuclear attack approach against Donald Trump for their own benefit. And, it's crazy because a lot of stuff coming after, Hillary Clinton. I mean, she's got stuff where she's talked about a hero being an ex-KKK guy. I mean, we could go rounds and rounds, but the difference is like you said, it's a war between the GOP within the GOP. They're not going after the Democrats because if you can see all over social media everything about KKK and Hillary Clinton, but they failed to mention that as well.
Let's talk about Christina. Christina, what do you have to say about that? About the they're basically using the same characters. It's the same characters, and they're not hiding it. I mean, they're basically showing their hand as to what's going to happen. They're not hiding it, and I think that's why they're just said, you know what, screw it. They're ready to lose. They're ready to lose to Hillary just to keep everything business as usual in Washington. So, Christina, what do you think about these same characters? The same characters are basically the attack dogs. These people that have made a career and have made millions of dollars being these attack dogs for the GOP establishment. How do you feel about that as a voter?
Yeah, well, it's shameful, and to see these attacks on Donald Trump, trying to align him with a man who uttered his name, and he never even got endorsed by the guy. The man was supposedly in the Klan, I guess, 40 years ago, and Donald Trump doesn't even know the guy personally. And I pointed this out the other day. When Al Gore ran for president in 2000, nobody brought up his father, who led the longest filibuster in history to block the 1964 Civil Rights Act. His father was a known racist. Several reports have said that he was also a member of the KKK. And where were these same people? Of course, you can only be a white racist if you're a Republican. Right. And he didn't have to answer anybody. These are just the same. These are leftist tactics, and these people should be ashamed of themselves. It's discussing what's going on. And,
I mentioned this on last night's show. I think it was a Washington Post or one of those rags. Basically, they come up with this. They revisit a 1927 article where it says Fred Trump was arrested at a KKK rally. And if you read the article, it gives mention of the people that were arrested and released on bail. And when it comes to Fred Trump, it says he was discharged. And, knowing friends in law enforcement, they tell me that being discharged basically means that he had nothing to do with what was going on and he was let go. And he was released on his own recognizance because he did nothing. And back then, they used to round everybody up. You know what I mean? They didn't play. The cops didn't play back then. They used to round everybody up, put you in a paddy wagon, and take you to the station house. But they're running with this. They're revisiting the same controversial, quote unquote controversial, articles on his father. Tell us about that, Cammie. What do you think about that?
They're openly admitting that they're doing this. We have two gentlemen that are spearheading this, and they're actually Stuart Stevens and Henry Barber. They're part of the team, and they actually carried out the Mississippi, strategy. But they openly admitted what their intent is. Yeah. They openly admitted that their level of intent is to remove Donald Trump first on the level of being a racist. So, they're openly, telling the people, this is our strategy. This is what we are going to do to take him down. To me, if you're going to fight, you got to learn how to fight. That's not how you fight, because they're telling everybody what their agenda is, and that's exactly what Donald Trump says. You never let anybody know what your agenda is. But, it's absolutely ridiculous. And we know that when we watch television and mainstream television, mainstream TV, they're only